What up, guys? It's the Regular Guy with the Regular Guy Firearms channel, and today we're actually going to talk about something that I've been messaged about a million fucking times, so I'm going to post a video about it. Now, the title of the video is as such: so you're joining the Army. There are a bunch of people that have asked me a lot of different questions and stuff like that through YouTube, and I just kind of brushed it off and told them I'll be making a video on it and stuff. But here's the deal. Okay, so you're some high school kid, or or you're not, and you decided, hey, I'm going to join the Army. Here's the best advice that I can really give somebody as far as joining the Army, going through, and all that other stuff. And it's pretty much going to go as follows. I personally believe that the first thing that you should do is you should look up the Oath of a Soldier. Look it up and start reading it. Okay. If at any point that your eyes start glazing over during the Oath of a Soldier, because it's not very long, but it's very, very, very important. If at any point your eyes start glazing over, especially when it reads over the specific lines of I state your full name, solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. If your eyes start glazing over about the old-fashionedness of any of that oath, get out of that. Get away from that recruiter. Get away from that recruiting office. Stay the fuck out the Army. Okay? And the reason why I'm telling you this is that there's a lot more that comes with being a soldier than wearing body armor and shooting stuff. There's a lot more. There's a lot of moral things that you have to deal with as an individual. And if you do not read and understand that oath 1000%, meaning if you do not understand that as a soldier you are an instrument of freedom to the people, not politicians, and that we are the only standing army in the world that is 100% bound to the people and the Constitution of the United States, and that we're the only standing army that deals specifically with lawful orders only, you need to get the fuck out the Army. You need to get the fuck away from the Army. And if you're a current soldier and you're hearing this, wait for your contract to expire. ETS, get the fuck out. Okay, because people like that do not need to be in the military, because it really means that you're riding the system for benefits all the way, and that you don't really know what it means to be a soldier. You don't really know what it means to have to make, for me, a really easy decision, but for some people, the tough decision of having to side with the people rather than the ranking officials, whether or not he's got stripes, brass, or wears a fucking suit and goes to Congress every day. Okay, so there is all of that, and you need to be cognizant of all of that. The next thing that we're going to deal with here revolves around recruiting stations and MEPS and stuff like that. Recruiters basically function as follows. Their job exists to bring dudes into the Army. Whether or not you come into the Army doing exactly what you want to do or not doesn't really matter to them that much. Their job is to get bodies in the military where the military needs those bodies. If you want an MOS like infantry, cavalry, scout, fucking 12 Bravo, whatever, okay, you can always hold off. Okay, don't get a fire lit under your ass and say, oh, I have to join right fucking now, and then get screwed out of the MOS you want. Jobs open all the time, okay, and if it gets to the absolute worst, October is the new fiscal year, be the first face in there saying, I want to be a 68 Whiskey, a medic, or I want to be a fucking 12 Bravo, combat engineer, or I want to be that infantryman. If the slots fill, wait. Wait until you can get your damn job. Okay? That's probably one of the biggest things that separates a happy soldier from a really miserable one doing a job that he hates. Understand that bonuses don't really mean shit. Oh yeah, you might get your $20,000 or your $10,000 bonus or whatever, but realize that over the course of you being in that 6 years, that $20,000 or those $10,000 don't really mean shit. It's a baiting tool. Okay, so if there is a choice between, let's say you want to be that combat medic, right? But there's a $20,000 bonus for supply. I know for a fact you're going to be miserable as fuck, stuck in that MOS, if you take those $20,000. It's a baiting tool, trust me. Okay? And when you come in and guys can say, oh, you can change your MOS? No. No. The vast majority of guys that come in are stuck with their MOS until they're done. And the only incentive that the military has for changing an MOS is if we are actively at war, meaning we're not doing the drawdown and shit that we are now as of 2014. We're not under debating terms as far as going back into Iraq and all that stuff. So if you've got an MOS, if you're signed for an MOS, you're stuck. Okay? So understand that the bonuses don't mean shit. Okay? But once you have your job and once you have everything set up, you're going to end up going to MEPS and everything else. Do what you have to do, I guess, to get through MEPS. There's not much that I can tell you other than follow the damn arrows, go through all the physicals and all that shit, let that dude coddle your balls, and, all should be good. Unless you got a previous medical condition and stuff like that, and the standards for that are a little bit higher now, you should be good to go. Especially if, you've never had any prior medical issues before, if you're a picket fence, as they would say, straight ones across the board, and you'll know what that means later, you should be good to go. But now that we're, past MEPS and all that shit, we're going to get to basic training and reception and all of that shit. Understand this. You can go to basic training with fucking nothing. Matter of fact, they actually kind of count on it. I showed up to basic training with fucking nothing. Shoes, socks, uniforms, all that stuff, they got you covered. But here are a couple of things that I would suggest that you consider if you're going in, mainly because it can affect your experience while you're there. First and foremost, shut the fuck up. It's as simple as that. There's times to be loud, there's times to not be, there's times to just be like, yes, Drill Sergeant, no, Drill Sergeant, blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, shut the fuck up. Okay? As far as questions and stuff like that, me personally, I always relied heavily on the most squared away looking dude in that big ass group of privates that was there. And if I had questions that would hold us up, I asked that guy. Okay? Especially after a while, once you start going through the different phases of basic training, asking extra questions annoys the fuck out of everybody, and you'll note that one way or another you'll figure it out, whatever it is that you have to do. But most of reception, actually almost all of reception, is standing in line, getting smoked, and that's about it. So really, be where you have to be, do what you have to do, and then you're going to end up going to your day 0 to start red phase and shit, which will be wherever the fuck it is you're at, based on whatever installation you're at. One of the biggest tips that I can give guys that are getting ready to go to basic training, and you'll understand that all of the tips that I'm giving you are kind of huge, I would say start running now. Okay? Because if you're not used to running, if you suck at running, you'll understand the first thing about basic training. You are running everywhere. It's going to happen. If you start dragging ass, they will shark attack you. You will be identified immediately as that dude that's not putting out enough effort. Don't be that fucking guy. Run a lot before you get there. Get used to running a lot before you get there. because it was like day 2 or 3, and understand this, like, every day that you're in basic training, especially if you go to like Fort Benning or some crazy shit like that, every day they're going to smoke the shit out of you. At least 2 to 3 to 4 times a day. Especially red phase, which is the first phase, the beginning phase, where they're starting to teach you all of the new shit, like facing movements and all of that stuff. You will be smoked a lot, and then you will have to make movements somewhere. If you don't haul ass everywhere that you go, you give them more reasons to fuck you up. Okay? Another big thing that a lot of new ass soldiers had to deal with when I went through basic training is getting frustrated because they're given time hacks for this and that and the other, and they can't meet it, and they keep getting fucked up, and they're trying to find ways to not get fucked up anymore. Listen, you will never ever please these people. Okay? You will never ever please these people. And the responsibility really of the drill sergeant while they're there is to teach you all kinds of the really basic fucking dumb guy soldier stuff that you have to know. But also to submit you through enough initial stress to get you prepared for the rest of the Army. Okay? Because listen, if you're not used to lots of physical activity, if you didn't play football, for instance, and if you're not used to having dudes yell at you and shit like that, for a lot of people, it was the hardest thing they've ever done. Believe you me, I didn't really think that basic training was that damn hard once I figured out the game. And the game is, shut the fuck up unless you're not supposed to be quiet. And there are definitely moments for that. Play the damn game, do the damn push-ups, put out as much effort as you can all the time, or it's going to fuck everybody else over. And end of the day, as long as you are putting out maximum effort, even if they continue to yell at your ass, you don't give people extra reason to fuck your ass up. You know, so there's a little bit that you have to deal with here and there. Next big tip that I would personally give people, and you don't really necessarily have to follow this one, but this is just my personal thing. When you leave, I wouldn't distract myself with personal correspondence with anybody at home. I mean, it's 10 weeks, man up, you know. And here's the thing. Like, the whole time that you're going through, especially if you didn't have to deal with much in your civilian lives or whatever before you went into basic training as far as stress, you didn't really have to worry about talking to people on a regular basis. Yeah, your family contact and stuff was there, but if you're there and you haven't experienced it very much, and now you're really stressed out because you're in basic training and stuff like that, the only thing that family can do as far as letters or phone calls is fuck you up. Because they're talking all this good shit at home while you're sitting there sucking. What I did was I just didn't really have anybody contact me hardly at all while I was at basic. I got like a letter, one. And as far as like phone calls and stuff, you can wait to call them. And if you hadn't placed a phone call from day 0 to the last day of basic training, they give you a phone call to tell your family, hey, I'm getting out of basic training, come pick my ass up from X place at Y time. So don't really worry about contacting family members and stuff like that. I personally didn't. And when I would see people getting letters and stuff like that, and there's supposed to be phone calls now, but chances of you getting that are kind of small, because if you fuck up a whole bunch, and you will all the time, like they'll say, if you're good this week, you'll get a phone call, but you fuck shit up. Someone is going to fuck up something. So you're probably not getting that phone call home. So just, to be honest, I would just have you not worry about it and deal with everything that you have to deal with once you got home. It's literally just over 2 months. Suck it up. So that's like personal correspondence and shit. Okay, so, and the next thing that we're going to deal with, This has to do with like the morning and stuff a lot. There are ways around this, but I think that the fastest way for you to deflucculate your morning, as far as getting into formation and everything, like every morning, is learn how to make a fucking bed. Learn how to make a bed fast. Like put a damn timer on it and try to get it done in like 4 minutes. This is including like hospital corners and everything else. Look up the damn measurements for what your sheet, your dust cover, and where your pillow have to be. Figure all that stuff out. And when you make your bed, make sure that you put good hospital corners on it. Don't leave bulges. Make them sharp as hell. Make them fold really, really nice. And all this other stuff. Because as well as like getting ready in the morning, what ate a lot of time up for a lot of guys is making the damn beds. And I remember getting my gear on and waiting and trying to help out some dude that had never made a bed in his life before. And now he's sitting there trying to make hospital corners and shit like that. And we're trying to move and we have like 30 seconds to be on the drill pad. Okay. So get your shit together as far as making a bed is concerned, because really everyone's running around in the morning trying to do their own shit, and you have that responsibility. Make sure that you take care of your things very quickly. Learn how to walk again. And I'm not saying this to be facetious. You will be doing a shitload of walking. There are these really fucking gay things called road marches, right? Some guys get really good at them and stuff like that. They were never a really huge problem for me, but I hate them. I am not that guy that enjoy. I will sit there and run all fucking day long, but if you throw an 80 or a 60 pound ruck on my ass and be like 12 miles in 3 hours, go, I'm going to get it done, but I'm going to hate every second of it. So a big thing that I would do to a lot of guys that have not spent a lot of time walking anywhere, and this is like really, really, really common, is people are not used to walking more than like a mile at the most, unless you live in New York City, in which, okay, you might be used to walking like 8 miles a day. That's a literal thing. Because there's a study somewhere that says that's the average, but Rabbit Trail Complete. A lot of people are not used to walking everywhere. So learn how to walk. Learn how to walk with weight. Learn what weight distribution is like, because they won't give you a huge amount of guidance on where you should throw shit in your ruck. And the best thing that I can say is the heavier shit closest to your back, get your frame nice and high. Tighten up your straps and bring your hip pad, which is a pad that's on the damn ruck and it'll be on your hip. Bring that a little bit high too, so you get some more back support. So do all that, okay? Because for a lot of guys, road marches were like the great fucking equalizer. I mean, there were guys that could do the run and all this other shit, but when it came to like the 12-mile road march, dudes were dying left and right. To where you would have to sit there and be like, come on, bro, it's fucking right there was 6 miles away, but you have to sit there and encourage people to just keep moving forward, and that brings me to my next point. Look, it's easy to say, listen, this guy's fucked up, fuck him, but everything that you do in the military is a team effort. George Patton put it great. This individuality stuff's a bunch of crap. Make sense? You don't leave people behind. It's part of your soldier's creed. You constantly move as fast as the slowest guy, and you are as strong as the weakest link. All of that good guy, poster child gay shit. So make sure that you police up guys that are fucking up. Make sure that you police up guys that are slow. Okay? Help them out. Move them faster. Get them to do something. Even if this means doing some wall-to-wall counseling. You'll figure out what that is. So, there's all of that shit. But the biggest thing, a big thing also happens to do with weapons, actually. You're gonna carry a weapon for the majority of this. If you're a 249 or a 240 gunner, you're gonna be sucking at life, because that shit's heavy and it's annoying to carry. just deal with it, I guess. If you're carrying a radio, you're going to be sucking at life because that motherfucker is heavy. But you're going to be carrying a weapon. They're going to give you blanks. They're going to tell you to chamber a damn round. The simplest thing that you can do is just sneak it on safe and leave it the fuck alone. I mean, I know it sounds really elementary, but, you know, verifying the condition and the status of your weapon is kind of a big deal too. Like making sure that your shit's on safe instead of burst. Yeah, it's like that. I even got a cool little story for you. We had this dude that was 2 platoons away, and he thought his shit was on burst, fucked around with his trigger, another huge no-no, and he lit off a burst in formation. The entire company got it. Okay, we got fucking hemmed up for like 3 goddamn hours because that one dude lit off the burst with blanks, and that sucked for everyone. You know, so there's all of that. I think the one thing that I would not do, that they actually instruct us to do as far as basic training is concerned, is they're like, oh, always clear your weapons before you enter a structure, right? And part of that clearing procedure includes pulling the trigger on an empty chamber. I know, it's stupid. That's the only thing that I didn't do as instructed. Okay? I just yanked the magazine out, ran the action, and didn't touch my trigger. I did not want to deal with a negligent discharge or an Article 15 while I was there. You'll figure out what an Article 15 is, too, because lots of people are going to get them. So that's like the one thing I didn't do is when I was entering structures, I didn't press that fucking trigger. And if you don't press the fucking trigger and you hit inside and they catch you and be like, pull the fucking trigger, you're going to be like, oh, shit. And that's all you're going to have to deal with. So that is all of that pertaining to, like, weapons and that type of shit. You know, so other than all of the stuff that I know for a fact that they're going to teach you and that they're going to teach you pretty good over there, you know, all I can really do is summarize this whole thing up. You know your oath. Really know your oath. Okay? I would say get a jump on the Soldier's Creed too, because you're going to say that 10 million times, and people who fuck up with the Soldier's Creed will get jacked up. You'll know what that word means after a while too. Understand that, you know, especially if you haven't dealt with real stress in your life before, it's going to suck, and not only is it going to suck, it's going to be gay. Okay, it's going to be army gay. It's going to be really ultra fucking crazy safe army gay, and you'll figure out what that is after a while too. Fake the funk, move on. You know, do what you have to do as far as not fucking over the other guys, like make a bed, run everywhere, put out 100% effort and everything. Don't fuck over your battle buddies. I can't emphasize that enough, because the word battle buddy is going to be etched into your mind for the rest of your life. Don't worry about back home correspondence, and don't touch your fucking trigger. Like, just don't do it. Okay? Other than that, you should have a good time at basic training. I met a lot of personal friends that I still know from basic training. And until you deploy, your basic training and AIT stories are pretty much all you're going to have. So, it's going to suck, but, you know, everything about the Army sucks in one way, shape, or form. So, have fun with it. Don't fuck up the Army. I'll see you around. Remember, guys, a regular guy's firearm is the last defense against tyranny.